Hello there. German Chancellor Scholz is aiming for a joint EU approach to lower electricity prices. Many politicians see the solution primarily in one measure. So, Federal Chancellor Olaf Scholz and Czech Prime Minister Peter Fiala have announced EU measures to combat high electricity prices. It is not necessary for countries to take national action, said the politician on Monday during a visit to Prague. It's obvious that the electricity prices no longer reflect the generation costs. Therefore, the structures would have to be reformed. And Fiala announced a special meeting of EU energy ministers in Brussels on September 9th. He consulted the President of the European Commission, Ursula von der Leyen, in the morning of their meeting. One conceivable measure is to decouple the calculation of the electricity price from gas. Von der Leyen said at an international conference in the Slovenian city of Bled on Monday that the Commission was working on immediate measures and a structural reform of the electricity market. The skyrocketing electricity prices are now showing the limits of the current electricity market design that was developed for different circumstances, as she put it. Scholz did not want to comment on specific measures. In some cases, as with gas, a price cap is required. However, the federal government has so far rejected this because it would eliminate the incentive for savings. Fiala said the surge in electricity prices is now making EU countries that were previously skeptical rethink. Southern EU countries such as Spain and Greece have been demanding market intervention for months. So far, however, they have failed, among other things due to resistance from Germany and the Social Democratic-led government there. Within the federal government, the economics ministry is responsible for changes in the electricity market. Green economics minister Habeck also showed his willingness to fundamentally reform the electricity market. In a German TV magazine Heute Journal, Habeck said on Sunday evening that in view of the rising prices on the electricity market, a solution was being worked on. However, the underlying principle cannot be changed simply with a snap of the fingers, as he put it. At the beginning of the month, his ministry announced that a good 14% of electricity generation in Germany was based on the use of gas. However, gas is only used when it is really needed. This is ensured by the so-called merit order principle, according to which cheapest systems have to be used first. Compared to renewable energies, nuclear power plants and coal-fired power plants, gas has the highest costs. A spokeswoman for the Ministry of Economics in Berlin said on Monday that the merit order principle should be retained. However, the negative effects on the electricity market would have to be looked at. But that's only in the medium term, she said. One is at the beginning of a process in which there must be extensive consultations with the EU partners and the EU Commission. It can't go that fast, she said. Changes already in the coming winter are not to be expected. And German Federal Finance Minister Christian Lindner from the Liberals, on the other hand, is pushing for more speed. The increase in electricity prices must be curbed very quickly. Additional burdens must be prevented, he said on German television. We can intervene now, we have to tackle it, he said. Electricity and gas prices would have to be decoupled. It has to be done very quickly, Lindner said. As suggestions for curbing electricity prices, Lindner referred to additional capacities, for example in nuclear energy or through the reactivation of coal-fired power plants. Some of our cities will be darker because we have to save electricity. In such a situation, however, we do without safe and climate-friendly options for generating electricity, such as nuclear energy? That doesn't convince me. That's what he told to another German television called Welt. With a view to an ongoing stress test of the German power supply, he said he was pretty sure that there would be a lot to be said for the continued operation of the nuclear power plants. He would always try to secure whatever reserve capacity we have in this situation. It needs a mix of liquid natural gas, gas production in Europe, coal, and also nuclear power. My advice to us, don't be too picky, but do everything to avert an energy crisis in our country, he said. The Minister of Finance was also open to additional relief for citizens. He pays attention to the development of tax revenue and takes a very close look at how the state is spending, he says. And this may result in some scope this year for additional measures in the 2022 calendar year. The so-called Traffic Light Coalition in Berlin is currently discussing the details of the third consumer relief package. The Prime Ministers of Rhineland-Palatinate, Malu Dreyer, is also calling on the government to examine the possibility of state regulation of electricity prices. She said, "The high electricity prices are not justified. They are the result of a misguided electricity market. The state must intervene here." She said that on Monday to the German press agency. The rules on the electricity exchange urgently need to be adjusted, she said, because this is only possible across Europe. The federal government should also examine whether electricity trading can be suspended in the short term and whether state price regulation is possible. That's what she says. After the gas prices, the electricity prices should not go through the roof as well. For many people, energy costs are becoming an existential burden. There is no electricity but a gas crisis. We must prevent citizens and parts of the economy from not being able to pay their electricity bills any longer, while some energy suppliers are now making huge profits in electricity trading, Dreyer demanded. She's also convinced that in the long term, electricity and gas prices should be decoupled. To do this, we have to change the electricity price regulation. Currently, the most expensive power plant sets the electricity price. These are primarily the gas-fired power plants. These accounted for just 14% of electricity generation. Electricity from renewable energies, on the other hand, accounts for almost 50% in Germany. This electricity is climate-friendly and the production costs are low, says Dreyer. Since electricity and gas prices are not decoupled, prices are rising for consumers and profits for energy providers who sell electricity from renewable energies. The consumers did not benefit from the low production costs, only the energy suppliers. We have to change this imbalance, if necessary, with state electricity price regulation, she says. And the Austrian Chancellor Karl Nehammer also spoke out in favor of decoupling electricity prices from gas prices in the EU. The price of electricity must approach the actual cost of generation again, he said on Sunday. And I'll see you in my next video. I'll be back.